Well, hello, greetings to all viewers, to all the participants, all the supporters from every tribe, every nation, every continent. This morning, it's morning on my end. I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you. My name is Margaret Ellis, and I want to know that I have this singular honor, and it is a great honor to serve you today as the host for the Leading Edge Impact Forum. Welcome, everyone. This event is brought to you by Global Youth Leaders Network, headquartered in South Africa, and Coaches of Influence Foundation, headquartered in the USA. And when two continents come together, we know that there's a lot of positive energy, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of force on this platform today. And the hot topic of discussion on the platform is effective youth participation in economic growth. And this topic is inspired by UN Sustainable Development Goal number 8, and which focuses on the creation of employment opportunities for youth through the acquisition of relevant education and solid training and skills development. We are very excited to have you. You have been invited to join us in our first class cabin for a think tank session. And today we are focusing on 4 major areas surrounding decent work and economic growth for youth. To get us all started off the ground, because we are going to have a smooth flight today, and we are going to serve you all kinds of meals, all kinds of desserts, all kinds of beverages. So stay tuned, fasten your seatbelt, grab your coffee, grab your notebook, grab your iPad, grab your pen, whatever you can write with. Grab it, because there is going to be an influx of knowledge coming through this platform today. And we are so glad you are here. We are ready to take off the ground. So we are going to invite a youth leader from the great state of Texas to usher us into the skies. We are ready for Kayla George. Kayla George is the Texas youth leader that's going to usher us into the skies as we take off from the runway. Kayla, welcome to Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm honored to be here.
We are so glad to have you, Kayla. I know all of our viewers would like to know who you are. And I want to share with all of you that Kayla was born in New York and raised in Texas. So Kayla is a breed of New York and Texas. And you know, when New York and Texas meet, oh my goodness, because New York, we all know how New York is, and we all know that Texas is a force to reckon with. So this is a powerful, dynamic young lady. And Kayla, you are currently a freshman at Texas A&M University, and you are pursuing a degree in engineering. Amid the pandemic, listen y'all, amid the pandemic, this young lady left home and she is in college and doing her thing. And Kayla, up until the time you left for college, which is just a couple of months ago, you served as a worship leader and also as a digital artist at your church. And I have known you, Kayla, to be a very dynamic youth and a passionate worshiper. Kayla, we welcome you once again. And what are you going to sing today?
Thank you. Today I'm going to be singing Hillsong Worship's song, So Will I.
Wow, we are already, I'm sure a lot of people are already excited just hearing Hillsong, because they have thousands and millions of followers all around the world. Kayla, our seatbelts are fastened and we are ready to take off. Thank you, and take us into the skies.
Thank you. God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time, With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars are made to worship, so will I can see your heart in everything you made. Every burning star, a single fire of grace. If creation sings your praises, so will I. So will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. Oh, as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. If it all reveals in nature, so will I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. If creation still obeys you, so will I. So will I. Worship you, God. So will I. If the stars were made to worship, so will I. If the mountains bow in reverence, so will I. If the oceans roll your greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. If the wind goes where you send it, so will I. If the rocks cry out in silence, so will I. The sum of all praises to fall shine. We'll sing again 100 billion times. God of salvation, you chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. where you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you, so will I can see your heart and everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly chose surrender, so will I can see your heart a billion different ways. Precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one that never leaves the one behind.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look, I'm already teary, Kayla. Kayla, I'm not good with makeup. It took me quite some time this morning to fix my face, and you're already messing it up. This was so beautiful, Kayla. Thank you so much for such a beautiful song, girl. You sang from your heart. And this is what I said earlier. You are a worshiper at heart. Thank you so much. And Kayla, we are so proud of you. And again, Kayla, I'm very impressed because in the midst of the pandemic, you left home for university. So I know you have a lot you can share with young people to encourage them. What would you say to youth today? Someone who is at home, who is discouraged, someone who thinks the world is coming to an end and nothing good is going to come out of this world. What do you have to say to them today?
Absolutely. The most important thing for me is to just know that God has everything in his hands. God has set a path for us, and he is going to lead us on the path that we need to go. He knows exactly what's going on. We just have to trust that he knows what's best for us. We have to move forward with faith.
Thank you so much, Kayla. That was a pretty smooth takeoff. Viewers, please send your love to Kayla. Send your heart, send the comments, connect with her on social media. Encourage this young lady. She has a beautiful soul, a beautiful heart, and she is up to great and mighty things. Kayla, thank you for having you, and we hope to see you again in the future.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity again.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you are just tuning in from wherever you are tuning in from the world, welcome to Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum, which is brought to you by Coaches of Influence Foundation, which is a youth and women's organization headquartered in the USA, and in partnership with Global Youth Leaders Network, which is also a youth organization headquartered in South Africa. You know, our discussion this morning will be centered on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And this year, the UN celebrated 75 years. They are celebrating 75 years since their establishment, since its establishment. And a prominent item on their agenda is the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which were established to serve as the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all humanity. And these SDGs were adopted as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people of the earth enjoy peace and prosperity in this decade that we have just welcomed. And consequentially, the focus for this forum today also is from SDG 8, which is focusing on decent work and economic growth. And the topic of discussion on the table, we are in flight, we are seated in first class, and we have a round table discussion today. And the topic of discussion on this table is effective youth participation in economic growth. Listen, we are not waiting 1 minute longer. We are ready to dive deep into this conversation. And to kick it off, We are going to hear from one of our dynamic guests, all the way from Guyana, all the way in Guyana, South America. This is where this guest is coming from. We go to all continents, all nations of the world. This is Coaches of Influence Foundation and Global Youth Leaders Network. Is the Honorable Astel Collins available? Is Honorable there? Honorable, you are welcome to this red table, to this red carpet. I mean, we have laid the table. Everybody was waiting on you. We cannot wait to hear what you have in store for us, coming all the way from Guyana, South America. Welcome, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Earlier we had some issues with the internet, so I decided to come outside to see if it's going to be better, because I think the building was blocking the signals or so, but I hope it's better now.
It's a little bit better, and we hope it gets even better, because you have a lot to bring to us, and we are all eager, we are all excited. We are so hungry. We came to this table hungry. Look, it's early morning for me where I am. I haven't even had breakfast yet. But I know one thing: before I leave this platform, I will go full to the brim. You know what? Let me tell the viewers about you a little bit, Honorable Dr. Astel Collins. You are one of Guyana's distinguished youth ambassadors, and you are also a youth and goodwill ambassador. Dr. Collins, you are also the CEO of Better Defined One, which is a brand known in the Caribbean and South Africa as BD1 Leadership. You were appointed as the special envoy representative to the government of Guyana on behalf of the United States Global Leadership Council. And you were also assigned as to the Director General, Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Harmon, at the Ministry of the Presidency in Guyana. In 2019, you were awarded with the Nelson Mandela Peace Award. Additionally, Mr. Astel Collins, Dr. Honorable, you were among 17 global influencers that were featured in my book, Influence 2, Legacy Beyond the Grave. Honorable Collins, we can go on, but I want to formally welcome you to the table of dialogue.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Honorable Collins, your central focus is gender-based violence. And you will talk to us about the effects of gender-based violence on the economy.
Yes.
Gender-based violence, let's dive in. Let's go ahead and dive in.
I would first like to start with what I've researched, and it says that gender-based violence is a phenomenon deeply rooted in gender inequality and continues to be one of the most notable human rights violations. Within all societies, gender-based violence is violence directed against a person because of their gender. Both women and men experience gender-based violence, but the majority of victims are women and girls. Gender-based violence and violence against women are terms that are often used interchangeably, as it has been widely acknowledged that most gender-based violence is influenced, or inflicted rather, on women and girls by men. And that is what the research says. But my experience goes beyond that. Dr. Margaret, are you hearing me clearly still?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Excellent. There was an image. I've done close to 1,000 seminars in Guyana since my return from South Africa. And one of the images I always use is it looks like a ceramic woman with a child, but she's broken, and the child has a piece of her trying to put her back, whilst the man is looking on the balcony, looking away from the tragedy that he has just committed. And I believe that encapsulates the very image that our children, the next generation, that's why I love the fact that we're dealing with youth, those that are upcoming, are the ones who are tasked, gifted, to actually mend that which was broken. But if we are not given the necessary tools to do such, then the cycle continues. And I believe that what helps us to mitigate this sickness, this phenomenon that has plagued us for so long, is taking the journey of self-discovery, where we can identify who we are, our tags, our talents, abilities, gifts, and strengths. Because it's like if you're going on a voyage, you're going on a sea journey. You cannot control the wind. You cannot control the storm.
Right.
What helps you through is your ability to navigate and sail. So we cannot necessarily control the man's mentality towards gender-based violence, or anyone for that matter, but we can control ourselves. And I believe that that is where it starts. There's a saying that said, it is not what you're called, but rather what you answer to. And this goes, I want to deviate a little bit from not gender-based violence, but to let us expose violence. And we have a connotation that when someone says violence, they usually conjure up the ideas of physical activity, or somebody hitting you physically. But let us go beyond that and see that you can speak. Like right now, there is this thing called cyberbullying, and people can be extremely violent in cyberspace on Facebook. So you don't have to literally be hit to experience violence. There is emotional violence, there's psychological violence, and then there is obviously physical violence. But what insulates you from that is having a sense of being, having a sense of who you are. It was Dr. Carter Woodson, and I always try to quote him because it really captures our mental agility and our mental state that we ought to be in. And he said, you cannot control a man's thinking. No, Doctor,
I can hear you.
Have I lost you? Okay. Dr. Carter will say, if you can control a man's thinking, you don't have to concern yourself with what he will do. So it really goes to how do we think ultimately. And gender-based violence, I believe, I don't want to say it's incurable, but I believe we can navigate the effects of it by understanding who we are, by taking the journey of self-discovery, by identifying our tags, our talents, abilities, gifts, and strengths, so that we can answer the call to who are you, why are you here, and what is the destiny that made you necessary. Most people who endure or allow themselves to continually be in an environment that is violent is asking simple questions. Do you see me? Do you hear me? And do I matter? So I believe that this is the generation that will usher this new dispensation where we can literally be what we were created to be and don't settle for less than God's intended best. So I believe that we have to literally go and seek the necessary tools to identify our giftings and, literally give all of ourselves, because the journey is really self-discovery to self-mastery. When we would have identified who we are and then become servants and not be generational thieves to this time in our generation, because all of us were gifted to give to this generation that which we are.
Thank you so much, Honorable Collins. I picked up a few nuggets from when you were speaking. And the couple that stood out for me are, you can't control a man's thinking. If you cannot control a man's thinking, then you don't have to concern yourself with what he will do. And what I get from that is, we cannot manage others, but we can manage ourselves. And when we manage ourselves well, we teach people how to handle us, and we teach people how to deal with us. Thank you so much. And the truth is this: when we talk about gender-based violence, we usually think the male versus female.
Yes.
But in our world today, we see violence occurring between people of the same gender. For example, there are certain stereotypes that are attached to males in a particular career and vice versa. If you find a lady in aviation, they may be dealing with stereotypes. You find a gentleman in maybe administrative assistant role, they may have to go deal with certain stereotypes. So with that in mind, what do you want to say about that? Let us clear it up.
And you see, it takes courage to be you. Most of us, because of we in our country right now, the nurses are striking, and you have a lot of male nurses. And the thing is, there was a time you would believe that nurses is relegated only to females, and so you have to have this. That's why I'm saying it goes back to your sense of purpose and being, the reason for your being. Why are you here? What is the reason what is the reason for your existence? Why out of 600 million sperm cells the divine selected, chosen, and anointed you to be? So you have to be courageous to literally embrace all that you are and refine who you are, and then serve yourself to society and humanity. So I believe that it takes courage to, in spite of the stereotypes, transcend it and serve humanity with a degree of honesty and authenticity that, there was a friend of mine that says you have to write something that is worth reading with your life, and do something that is worth writing about, so that you will never be forgotten. We are, fleeting in this, what we call time, but we are usually eternal beings. There's a pulse where we deposit it in time to make a deposit, and then we transcend again. So my belief is that it takes courage for us to transcend, but first it starts with taking the necessary time to discover who you are. Only then can you, because you see, people, when you don't know who you are, you become a canvas, and people ascribe their idea of who you ought to be to you. So you live precariously, and you live between the vicissitudes of their ideologies and philosophies of what they think you should be. So you're cocooned into a mold that they have created for you. The only way you can be liberated from that, liberated from the stereotype, is for you to discover who you are and be true to that. I know our time is very limited, but so I'm not going to ramble on.
I am enjoying this conversation, and I picked up another nugget that you have to be courageous.
Mm.
You have to find yourself. Young people, I hope you are listening. I hope you are listening, young people. Above all odds, the odds of the internet challenge for Honorable Dr. Axel Collins, he had to step outside and stay in his car so he can give us these nuggets. I hope you are listening, because I'm picking some nuggets for myself. He said, you have to be courageous. You have to find yourself. You have to find who you are. And when you do, you will be able to manage situations around you and be able to serve humanity with impact. I think that is so powerful.
You
Honorable
know,
Collins,
you know,
considering
with
our
Dr.
topic, go ahead.
Dr. Maya Angelou says courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you cannot practice any other virtue consistently. So it begs it begs the question: why would I live my life in contravention to God's intended plan, to God's intended purpose? Because whatever He has called me to and for, He has not only positioned but equipped me to do it. So that's why there's a degree of fulfillment. We are frustrated when we are living a life in contravention to God's or the divine's intended plan and purpose. So the only way for us to live a life of fulfillment is when we discover, when we take the necessary time. It was Mother Teresa who says, "I am the pen in the hand of a loving God, writing this world a love letter." So, am I an extension of the divine? We've been often told that the spirit is within the body, but then they have discovered that the body is within the spirit, because the spirit literally cannot be contained, and we are indeed the essence and the manifestations of God. That's what it says. Um, you are a peculiar people, a holy nation, God's special possession. You are the light of the world, the salt of the earth. What is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you may visit him? For you have made him a little lower than yourself. We have relegated ourselves to this mundane existence when we are called to walk in the divine. When people say, he is wonderful, she is wonderful, it's like you literally leave them awestruck because of the wonder of who you are, of what you are capable of becoming. And we should not, because, I studied medical technology, but what I'm doing today has nothing to do with medical technology. So it also begs to have not only courage, but the willingness to course correct, where you say, this is what I thought I was supposed to do, but I'm not a human doing, I'm a human being. and my
Mhm.
essence is so much more than what I've studied for.
Mhm.
And that's the thing with being educated and being certified, because education comes from the Greek word eduko, which is to be led out of. So what am I being immersed in so that I can reveal all that I am? The difference between a pebble and a diamond is that the diamond is more valuable because the diamond is rare. But we have allowed ourselves to become common or cheap copies of great originals, never allowing ourselves to discover all that we are so that we can be the greatest expression of who we are. So we have settled for less than God's intended best. Growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. And to me, when I talk, there's a seminar done with abuse, which is most similar to violence. But
Mhm.
it is not what is done to us, but what is self-inflicted. Because my unwillingness to discover who I am allows myself to be abused. That's where they have the word evil, is when you live, Live, Evil is when you live backwards, when you live in contravention to God's intended plan for your life. So you have to literally take time to understand who you are. Only then can you transcend the maladies and the isms that society so readily ascribed unto us. I know you pausing me every
Awesome.
time.
I'm learning. I'm learning. And I like what you stated. Young people, I hope you're listening. He said education means, what am I led out of? Oh my goodness. Education is not supposed to cage us. It's supposed to liberate us. What am I led out of? So if any of you are seeking education, seeking knowledge, seeking training, so you can position yourself for employment, always ask yourself, with this education that I have pursued, with this degree that I am pursuing, with this training program that I am going after, what am I going to be led out of when I complete this program, when I complete this degree? And I think that will help you to start putting your future into perspective.
Well,
Thank you so much, Dr. Collins.
you know
So
that
continue. Go ahead.
it was Albert Einstein who says education is not learning facts. It's rather training your mind to think.
That's right.
Most of us refuse. They said the hardest thing a man will ever do is think. We think ourselves into problems. We think ourselves out of problems. But the hardest thing we'll ever do is think. You have to train your mind. The Bible says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your greatest asset is not the rhythm of your wine, but your mind. They say, I don't want to knock any women, but you spend more on your head rather than in your head.
Oh, I hear you. I hear
So
you. But,
when
but
I
you know,
lived in
I'm
South
not
Africa,
going there with you.
yeah, when I lived in South Africa, they had a documentary called Good Here. So
Mm,
you were socialized to think that what you have was not good enough. So you spend what you have not earned to buy what you cannot afford to impress who you don't like or who don't like you. So this cycle of poverty and violence it starts from us. Because
right.
they say you dress to be addressed, but you teach people how to treat you. So if you don't know who you are, if you don't value who you are, if you don't have a sense, you said that's what the thing is, self-esteem. We should not get the estimated worth and value of ourselves from somebody else.
Mhm.
We are looking outside of ourselves for what is buried within us. So life is really the great unveiling of our talents, abilities, gifts, and strengths. And then we take the necessary time, and that is what education ought to complement. You taking the necessary time to refine that gift that you are and serve it to humanity. But when you confine your life to just a paycheck, you literally become a prostitute where you sell your gift to the highest bidder. So it's no longer about what am I supposed to do? It's how much am I to be paid for what I do.
Mm,
So remember, your work is different from your job. Your
that's
job is
right.
what you're trained to do. Your work is what you're born to do. Your job is your career, but your work is your life's assignment. You can be hired and fired from your job, but never your work. Finding your work protects you from the imprisonment of a job. So my charge to our youth is to understand who you are, and then you becoming what you were created to be would allow you to transcend the boundaries even of your geographical location. I lived in South Africa, not because of what I studied, but because of what I became. And when you become a person of value, there is a demand for you. I was told to make my voice invoiceable. So you have to become someone that has content, so that when you speak, they're not rhetoric, but they're time-tested principles that can be applied to any generation, any gender, any geographical location. And I believe for us to transcend the limitations and the boundaries of violence, which I believe starts from within, is for us to know who we are. They said a caged lion. A lion remains in cage and in captivity because the food is free. Most of us remain in the enslavement of our job because the paycheck is guaranteed. So how do we transcend that and become a person of value? It is to discover who we are.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. And please place your phone on mute so I don't echo back.
Okay.
Thank you. So considering our topic of discussion, which is effective youth participation in economic growth, what do you think are the effects of gender-based violence on the economy?
Please repeat that.
Considering our topic, which is effective youth participation in economic growth, what do you think are the effects of gender-based violence on the economy?
If I am viewed and treated as less than I am, then I cannot be the best that I can be. So even that disposition allows me not only to be mediocre in my work, but even the job that I seek would be far less than what I'm capable of. So it affects the economy because I am not giving my best. I am not using and engaging my mind, my talents, my giftings to promote, to transcend, to advance the economy. I am literally becoming a parasite. And hence this concept of, and you know, in the time of COVID, one has to be mindful of the limitations that COVID has brought upon not only various countries, but the world. So a lot of things are shifting and we're forced. A lot of people have to work from home because of the safety concerns. But you literally have to reinvent not only yourself, but to take a fresh look at the economy. So I believe the impacts are clear, whereby if I am not in a position of not necessarily authority, but empowerment, where I'm not empowered to make certain decisions, I am literally relegated to accepting what is before me rather than literally taking the necessary steps to channel and navigate the vicissitudes of the economic uncertainties. So I believe gender-based violence, and if you to go back to what it really is if I am experiencing violence, not only at my job, but in the community, in the society, on social media, I am less than my best and thus cannot give my best. So I will be compensated based on what I am given, not to the value and the work that I potentially can. So I believe that the impacts of gender-based violence is crucial and has a greater impact. And like I said before, how we transcend this is to discover who we are and then serve at a higher level. And then most times we believe that because I studied this, I am employed X, that is all I can do. That is the sum total of my existence. But when I am free to be me, I can actually identify other economic streams. So I don't pressure one particular stream of income or one job to give me what it has not or what it is not supposed to give me. But if I supplement my income, I can give to that job what it requires, what I'm paid for. They usually say you ought to be paid for the solutions you bring, and not necessarily for what you think you deserve, but the solutions you bring. What solutions are you bringing? And the thing is, we have in this new dispensation, not only with gender-based violence, but with the COVID, is how do you transcend the limitations that have been placed upon you? And how do you creatively use the tools that is at your disposal to supplement your income and the economy?
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Collins. We really appreciate you for sharing such valuable information with us. You are a man of honor and a great asset to yours and even the younger generation. You have reminded us today that if we take care of each other, together we will build a strong economy. If we take care of ourselves, if we invest in self to build the self-esteem, to build our courage, to build our inner strength, we will be able to manage the gender-based violence that we are exposed to, that people try to bring to us. If you walk into a workplace, if you walk into a school, if you walk into a club, into an association, with so much confidence of who you are, and you are bringing solution to the table, not a consumer, but you are a solution. I mean, that violence finds its way going down quickly because people see value in you and you are able to stand strong and stand against every wind of opposition. Honorable Dr. Collins, thank you so much. And please extend our love, our greetings to everyone in Guyana. And we appreciate you for even stepping out of the comfort of your house to stay outside in your car just so you can have good internet and be able to connect with us and speak with us. We appreciate you, sir. We thank you so much. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're just joining us, welcome to Leading Edge Impact Forum, which is brought to you by Global Youth Leaders Network, a youth organization headquartered in South Africa, and Coaches of Influence Foundation, a youth and women's organization headquartered in United States. Our topic of discussion today is, again, effective youth participation in economic growth. And this is inspired by the UN Sustainable Development Goal 8, which focuses on decent work and economic growth. Our next speaker is a woman of influence from the continent of Europe. We are touching all continents. We are bringing people from all nations, all tribes. I'm telling you, I know right now, I am going to receive the update very soon of how many people are tuned in from all over the world. Last month, we had people from more than 40 countries tuned in. We had more than 9,000 people online with us at the time of the program. So you are in the right place. And today we are so excited to welcome Deborah Power to the table of dialogue. Deborah, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Margaret. And thank you to the Global Youth Leaders Network. Can I just say, listening to Kayla sing was absolutely beautiful. Her voice was lovely, and she actually brought tears to my eyes. So thank you, Kayla, for that beautiful, beautiful song. It's a real honor for me to be given the opportunity to speak and engage directly today to a live audience. So I thank you for the invitation. Thank you
so much, Deborah. Deborah Power, you are a recognized voice in UK as a key influence in both the public and the private sectors. You built a career as a corporate transformational change management consultant and supporting role in building construction project management. And you were the recipient of the UK Humanitarian Global Ambassador Award in 2019. You were also a recipient of the Face of the Globe for Peace Awards from the UN Kofi Annan University in 2019. You are truly an international ambassador. Your father is a Nigerian, and you've traveled to the Gambia quite a bit, and you are no stranger to Senegal. In your role as, you know what, I want to be like you when I grow up, Deborah. I really, truly want to be like you when I grow up. You are inspiring me to grow up and grow up fast. I mean, in your role as consultant and managing, you manage large-scale projects. You also work with youth through your career, through your work. You work with your corporate clients in developing and positioning youth to build their careers in the industry. Yeah. Deborah, welcome to the Leading Edge Impact Forum Table of Dialogue.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that warm welcome. It's lovely to be here, and it's always a pleasure to connect with young people and speak to young people and give them some advice. So today, obviously, I'm speaking about the SDGs 8 and really looking at the aspects of, young people today and what they can bring to the table for future and really for the future of a workforce, a new workforce. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at all the sort of ecosystems that are in place, and we have at the moment some real sort of big issues to deal with, and sometimes it's uncomfortable reading and sometimes it's uncomfortable things that we need to speak about. But, this is the reality that we're facing, and so for decades, we have seen large increases in millions of young people who have been displaced, in refugee camps around the world, and we're witnessing increased levels of child poverty and modern day slavery of young people and child labour. And so we're continuously witnessing young people having to face, the daily grind of just trying to survive and being systematically sometimes taken advantage of because of the poverty traps, that they find themselves in. So these are situations that are actually crippling young people and can leave them feeling like outsiders, stunting their creativity and their abilities to grow and learn, and dwindling their participation in, now and in the future, with little hope of contribution to civil society. So I think we have to really recognise, and not just as as young people, but even as corporate members and business leaders, we have to recognise the development of young people for a future workforce is vital. It's very important. So young people are extremely resilient, and we don't often give them the recognition that they deserve. Young people today, they know what they want. And right now, we're currently watching young people around the world accelerating themselves to cement their position in society, where they're raising the voices and they're breaking new ground. And that's wonderful. That's what we want to see. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah. So I want to speak to us about job creation for youth. And our conversation with you will be centered on how innovation and technology can be harnessed to create jobs. So Deborah, I have a question for you. In your view, how do you think unfriendly ecosystems cripple innovation and youth employment?
I think obviously we tend to have this attitude sometimes that if people don't have the right experience or skill set, then they're not part of the working environment. And I say this, this is a time and opportunity for young people really to use everything they have to advance their learning and development. So I say, don't be put off trying new things. We're all still continuing to learn new things. And as we go through life, we should always develop ourselves for the future. Don't let your backgrounds and where you come from or the mistakes you make growing up not to count, because do you know what? They actually do count. And it's vital to young people's uniqueness and growth, as human beings, to be part of the workforce and part of the standing for future innovations. My experience is, I always say, is my work experience is an extension of my life experience, and the good times and the bad times count. So that's part of the experience of learning your skill sets and setting yourself up and being available to learn new skills, so it's important. When I started my career, You know, I was a teenage mum, so I missed out on a high level of education. I didn't have the opportunity to go to university. I couldn't afford further education until I was in my early 30s. So to create a start in life and to really help me in my career, you know, the most important attributes were learning from my experiences. And my first sort of jobs that were, you know, wiping tables and serving food in restaurants. Little did I know, looking back then, that how those experiences would play a real sort of sense of a role in my work ethic and my career path. So our life experiences are very key to creating a space for innovation. You know, if we have the ability to have the space to learn new things, then we are creating, and young people are fantastic at creating. You know, if we look at the apps that have been created, they've come from young people just using the, you know, having the ability to have access to a mobile phone. And so already we're seeing young people create great apps, you know, to help themselves and help other people in society. So never be put off by, you know, by your lack of education or the fact that you may not have had that much work experience, because that is, you know, that is practical skills. And it's for everyone, including ourselves, you know, and senior and elder people in the communities, to come together and nourish those learning techniques and kickstart, you know, their leadership qualities.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that powerful, those powerful statements. I hope that the young people picked up some ideas in how they can utilize innovation and technology to create jobs for themselves, and also youth leaders and youth leaders of organizations that are serving youth. To I hope they have grabbed something from your presentation that they can apply. And Deborah, you have been working very closely with the youth in UK. So what 3 examples can you share of young people using their creativity, especially in entrepreneurship?
I would say, to start with, and I think it's always a great opportunity for young people, is to also make themselves available for volunteering, because I think volunteering really contributes to our diversity. You know, it helps us engage in smarter thinking, and it really does set the principles for creative innovation, because you're doing something different to your normal routines. So it's an essence of meeting new and different people in your communities, and you're meeting people that you may not have thought of speaking to, perhaps. So new experiences help young people to stretch themselves, and I think it's a really good way of speaking to others, working together in teams, and supporting each other. You know, these are tools and skills of really good leadership, and really set the bar for your entrepreneurial skills as well. You know, I say, believe in yourself, and don't be a complainer. Be the fearless force of good for you and the community around you. You know, if we assess our environment, young people know everything about their communities. You know, they become part of the solution, and it's an opportunity to take up that volunteering and training, and it helps you to position yourself. You then become part of you know, a new workforce, and your focus becomes smarter. You become smarter in your think, you know, in your thinking. You know, the last couple of years, I've watched so many young people really be inspiring community leaders through their volunteering, and it brings their ideas into a reality. You know, economic growth doesn't mean anything if you leave people behind. So startup projects can have an amazing impact, and volunteering really helps you to learn those skills and set those skills for a work experience. So I would definitely say, you know, try and help yourself and inspire each other to come together and really help each other in your communities. You know, I can give you some, you know, some really good examples of what volunteering can do, and really help you to create the beginnings of your career. You know, we talk about the environment and we talk about recycling, and you know, you can turn those projects, the volunteering projects, you can turn them into recycling projects. You know, you can turn plastic waste and turn them into bricks and plastic bricks. You know, that for me is somebody coming together with an idea and taking a simple idea, turning plastic waste into bricks. Well, that's the beginning of entrepreneurship. You know, that's the beginnings of teaching yourself about project management, about working together in a team. You know, I've come across a young group of Nigerian boys that I've been supporting, and you know, they've put a project together where they've been donating sanitary ware for young girls and women in rural areas. Again, great, young men doing that, but also that's the beginnings of, you know, social interaction in the community, social care. So again, volunteering project, but it starts the beginnings of a career. You know, recycling used soaps, simple things, but again, a great concept of reusable local products, and that starts the creative process. So, you know, simple ideas can easily be turned into startup businesses and green initiatives for everyone, and that includes young people with, you know, mental and physical disabilities. You can create opportunities for people around you that probably wouldn't even be considered. So shining a light on these types of volunteering projects has been inspiring, and it also inspires lots of other young people around the world. So I salute all young people today in their efforts to take up volunteering projects.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I picked up a few nuggets there, especially for the examples. You stated that the young people know all about their communities, and they can be a solution. They can step out and use their creativity in the communities that they serve, that they belong in, to come up with solutions. Because I believe, and you and I know, that when you present solutions, you create impact. When you present solutions, when you carry solutions to a table, you become relevant. You will not ask to be invited. You will become an automatic invitee. Because in this day and age, when everybody is talking, everybody is on social media, there are so many events and everybody is stepping out, you have to step out with content. You have to step out with something that is not already out there. You have to be creative in what you deliver. And if you do that, you will have an audience, you will have clients, you will have people that will be interested in your work, you will have sponsors. Be creative is one thing. And Deborah also said volunteering. Don't sit around if you're a college graduate and looking for someone to hire you in the position of management. If you have not been led, no one will want to give you a position to lead others. So volunteer, go out there, stretch yourself. Serve in an organization, serve in your community, serve where you can. And when you have in your resume, in your CV, that you are serving XYZ company and you have served so many hours, this number of days, and this is the impact that you have added to those organizations, any leader will dare to give you a chance. And she also said, work on projects in teams. You know, we live in a world where everybody wants to be seen and to be heard, and everybody wants to do something of their own. But I can tell you there is power in network. There is power in community. There is power in coming together. This platform is created by a collaboration between two powerful brands. Global Youth Leaders Network, headquartered in South Africa and serving many nations in the world, and Coaches of Influence Foundation, headquartered in the USA and serving communities from the USA to the continent of Africa. And when these two organizations come together, look what is happening. Look how many people we can draw to the table so you can get to benefit. There is power in collaboration. There is power in unity. Young people, look around you and look at who is doing what you're doing and find a way to network and collaborate. Thank you so much, Deborah. Those are some powerful, powerful words. And Deborah, you are a wealth of knowledge, and you have walked quite a journey in your personal and in your professional life. So Deborah, what parting words of advice do you have for our youth audience?
So I would say this: work together in your communities. You're absolutely right, Margaret. You know, come together as a team, and you create such a strength. Find local organisations to support you, and see what you can do to contribute to the local community. Share information, you know, useful tips for everyday life that can inspire you and others. Really make a difference. You know, leaders do not lead to outshine each other. Leaders who try to lead with their egos don't grow anything but divisions. So the natural order of the world is ecosystems, which expand at every part of the future. So eco-society are the building blocks to encouraging long-term growth. And I would say this is my final thing. You know, young people are in a position now that is really, really open to them. You know, and I would say, look at it like this: in another 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, there are going to be people that are not even born yet that are going to look back at this time, and they're going to look at you as the pioneers, the leaders, the community leaders that changed the world and changed their future. So you're creating history, and I just want you to really take that on board. This is your time, and don't let anybody take that away from you. You know, this is your time. So thank you so much. It's been really, really great to have the invitation to join you today. Thank you, Margaret.
Deborah Power, you are a powerhouse. And the work that you're doing with young people is breaking barriers, is breaking them free from hopelessness and helplessness. When you share with me how you take on college graduates under your wings, how they come, you train them, you show them the work, you position them, you coach them, you mentor them, and you help them to build a career right from under your wings. People, young people, I know a lot of you want to be CEOs. When I look around at your profiles on social media, every young person now that steps out is stepping out as a CEO, as the owner, as the founder, as the this, as the that. There is nothing wrong with that, but I'm telling you, there is also nothing wrong with someone stepping out and people knowing that you have been marinated well. People knowing that you sat under somebody's wings and you are coached. People knowing that you do have someone, a leader over you to teach you, to inspire you. When you have to go for a business meeting with clients, when the UN calls you and they want to invite you to the table, you have that mentor that's going to take the time to show you how to dress up, how to open the door, how to have that elevator speech, how to talk, how to present your proposal. Those things are key. Don't just step out of your bedroom straight into social media and call yourself a CEO or a brand ambassador or this and that. People that carry that title, they have worked the walk and they have put in the hours, the sleepless nights. They have labored. Go find someone, hide under their wings. Let them cover you. Let them show you. Let them teach you. And that's exactly what Deborah is doing. If you are in UK, you are in the university, you are in a tertiary institution, you are a graduate, you are a young person unemployed, you are an entrepreneur starting your business, you own an organization, you own a company. Whatever you do, connect with Deborah, because she will be able to give you a nugget, a word of advice, something that I did not have growing up, something that you need for your generation, something you need so you can be very impactful. Deborah, what can I say? Sister, keep on keeping on. We are right behind you, and keep trailing back and forth between Gambia and Senegal. Keep inspiring the youth in Nigeria, because you do have a stake in that country. Your father is from Nigeria, and you are a powerhouse, an international woman, well marinated, well seasoned. Deborah, what can I say? Thank you for joining us today on the platform of dialogue.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, viewers, welcome once again to Leading Edge Youth Forum. We are comfortably seated in flight, and we are ready for a think tank dialogue about effective youth participation in economic growth. This topic is inspired by UN Sustainable Development Goal 8, which focuses on decent work and economic growth. I don't know about you, but for me, it is time for a coffee break. And we have a delicious snack on the menu. We are going to invite a very skillful young man to usher us into the next level. And this young man is again from the great state of Texas, and it is no other than Jediah Ward. Jediah, welcome to the table of dialogue.
Hello, glad to be here.
Thank you. You see this young man standing there, Jediah is just 15 years old, and he is already developing a deep passion for justice, for history, for politics, for baseball, and also he is serving other young people like him in many, many capacities. Jediah, you have been playing the violin for a few years now, and you enjoy playing themes from various movies. And yes, you are a young entrepreneur. Hello, Jediah. When I was 15 years old, to tell you honestly, I was still playing hide and seek. I was still playing hopscotch. I was doing jump roping with my friends in Africa. I wasn't thinking about owning a business. I wasn't thinking about learning a specific skill. But this young man right here, with the influence of his powerful parents, the influence of his parents that are right behind him, this young man is not only a violinist, he's also a young entrepreneur, and he owns a summer business called J&J Lawn Services. JD, I am wowed. What are you going to sing for us to perform today? With theme?
So I'm playing today a theme from Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's the main theme song of the whole movie. So.
All right, Jediah, welcome. Thank you for coming, and go ahead. The platform is all yours. We are all ears.
Okay then.
Jedediah Ward, y'all. That's JD. Please send him some love. Let me see heart going on Facebook. I want you to send some emojis. I want you to encourage this brave young man, JD. If I can roll back the clock, one day when I do have the opportunity to come back in this world, I want to do what you're doing, and I want to be like you. I want to dream big and think about what plans I can have for my future at the age of 15. You are an inspiration, Jedediah, and I wish you all the best in your plans to pursue baseball in high school and even becoming an attorney in the political arena. Jedediah, we love you. Thank you so much for such a powerful performance. We really appreciate it. Did you want to say something, Jedediah?
Thank you so much for having me, and just follow your dreams and just ask God for his blessing hand and just go after them.
All right. Did you hear that? Did you hear Jedediah? I hope you heard him. Thank you so much, JD. We appreciate you. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you once again, viewers. Was that not an awesome snack? That was beautiful. So thank you once again for joining us for the Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum. This is presented to you by Coaches of Influence Foundation, a youth and women's organization headquartered in the United States, and Global Youth Leaders Network, a youth organization headquartered in South Africa. Listen, we are waist deep in the conversation, and each speaker has fed us with some quality food. Would you say that? If you believe you have been fed with quality food so far, go ahead and give us thumbs up, give us hearts. Go ahead and let us know what you are getting from your end. Let us know what you're receiving. Let us know how much value this platform, this table dialogue is adding to you today. And the conversation continues. And don't forget, our topic is effective youth participation in economic growth. And the topic is derived from the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which zeroes in on decent work and economic growth. Our next speaker is from the continent of the Americas, and one who is very qualified to speak about immigration and migration. Hello, Valentine. Valentine, you're on mute.
Hello, how are we doing today?
We're doing great. Thank you, Valentine, and welcome to the Table of Dialogue.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Valentine, you are from a multicultural family, and you currently work for a local NGO serving youth in different continents and countries in many areas, including diplomacy and protocol training, among many other programs that are offered. And through the NGO you represent, you have the opportunity to interact and dialogue with members of Congress, ambassadors of different nations, and many key decision makers. So Valentine, this is not the first table that you are invited to. You have been at many tables, and you are constantly at tables speaking on behalf of youth, because you're a youth advocate and taking education to places where it would not have reached. And Valentine, you know what? The truth is that your biography includes so much more than time would permit me to even share. So all I want to say is I welcome you to Leading Edge Impact Forum, the Table of Dialogue.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to say that I come from a multicultural family background. For example, my mom is Mexican from my home state of Puebla in Mexico, and I currently reside in the States, in New York, working as a youth representative for civil society through Man Up campaign, who does gender equality, gender equity, and gender representation. First of all, we need to ensure that youth and women, mostly women, are represented on the table. 50%, because as you may know, in certain countries, for example, Germany, New Zealand, and Iceland, with qualified women on the table, have represented stability and great leadership skills in the global international sector. First of all, I come from, again, from a multicultural background. My mom is Mexican. My dad is Black American from Puerto Rico. And uh, through that multicultural setting, I am always adapted to cultural adaptability, being adaptable, cultural education, cultural integration, and cultural multilateral. So this is what it has grown up for me to be more, as you may say, qualified in the international diplomacy. Um, right now, I'm currently a student as well in Lehman College, CUNY City University of New York in the Bronx. Um, my parents immigrated from Mexico, my mom especially, to migrate. She came to the States as a young person from 20 and met my dad, Francisco Castillo. But also, the opportunities are very limited in developing countries. We have to take that into account. For example, this is from the UN studies. In 2013, young migrants ages from 15 to 24, part of that, 12% of the total migration population, which is made up of 28.2 million people or international migrants, 10.2% of developed countries, come to like the US, the UK, and other major developing countries to seek out for opportunity at best. And also, we can also explain of these individuals that are successful. You may see them or know them or have heard of them. Natalie Portman from Israel, Arnold Schwarzenegger from Austria, Sergey Brin from Russia, um, Albert Einstein from Germany, of course. He's very scholar. Penelope Cruz from Spain, Bruce Willis from Germany, Audrey Hepburn from Belgium, Cesar Millan from Mexico, Liam Neeson from Northern Ireland. We have successful people from developing countries or from other countries to seek out our better opportunities in other countries like the US and Canada. And we also have to take into account that um, that in developed countries, women and girls constitute 48.9% of adolescent and youth migration, that we lose in these developing countries that can make up or even extend a better developing infrastructure in these developed countries. So we have to take that into account. So there are various experiences that people can seek out. For example, you need better education as acting, you need more qualified opportunities in your own community. You can seek them at that moment. It depends on the administration, it depends on what we need to do, but there are others who are willing to stay in these developing countries or successful countries. For example, these are the people that I currently know and work with collaboratively. There's Pooja Shukla from Singapore. She had created the Cosmos International Network, an NGO that wants to collaborate and expand qualified educational structures, resources, and public frameworks for other youth in other countries to collaborate and extend that hand of youth leadership engagement. There's also Yahir Arellano from Juventudes for Mexico that created his own NGO with collaboration from all the states of the Republic of Mexico, within the Republic, sorry. He extends even collaborations with other youth outside of the of Mexico. These are just a couple of examples that we need to extend hands and share knowledge and expand capacities.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yes, and we have a lot of important information that you are going to share. So let's dive into the conversation. You will be sharing some knowledge on how unemployment drives immigration and migration, how unemployment can drive immigration, and how migration drives unemployment. So now we are dealing with, this is a double-edged sword. We are talking about immigration and talking about migration. So on one hand, unemployment can drive immigration. And on the other hand, migration can drive unemployment. And both of these have a significant effect on the economy of any country. So, Valentine, you travel across countries and continents. What have you seen regarding migration of youth from one area to another?
Yes, for example, I live currently, as you may know, in the United States. For example, there are in immigration populations in the U.S. This is just for the U.S. alone. It makes up 44.73% million people. That's for 2018. And unauthorized immigration population, it makes up of 12.12% for 2014. These are people who are filling up jobs in the States, especially in America, people who are willing to dive in and bring economic growth and economic sustainability and from one country to the other. As you may be aware, youth themselves are ambassadors of from developing countries to bring culture or multiculturalism, as I know it depends on various people who want to convey what it represents. Economic adaptation, migration adaptation, and advocates of agents for change. These are youth who are willing to work and increase the workforce in the States. So, and people who are given visas for work. This is in the United States alone. 8.74 million people who have been given visa grants or visa permission to work in the States for 2019 alone. So we need to ensure that when people come into the States, they're willing to work. They're willing to be agents of change within the States in the society that they represent. They bring economic adaptability, adapting themselves to the culture and learning what it is to be different or be adaptable to the community, and bring advocacy, change, and money, not just for themselves, economic for sustainability, as well as in the developing countries. They bring gross money into the developing countries. We have to ensure that, because not only they're bringing economic growth in their community in the developing country of origin, they're bringing sustainability. So that's what makes part of the GDP increasingly amazing. So we can see, oh, these people are not relevant to us. They should go back or whatsoever. No, they bring money and growth in the GDP economic sector for migration. We have to understand that many youth, even in intergenerational dialogues and talks, many people will tell you, youth make the future of tomorrow. So, for example, I follow Queen Mother Dr. Louise Blakely. I'm mentored by Her Excellency Dr. Amina Ali. Like, these women are amazing. They bring you knowledge of great wealth, great knowledge of cultures. So this is where I myself am the agent of change as well, not just myself, other youth as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Valentine. Thank you so much, Valentine. That is such valuable information. And Valentine, you and I know, and you know this more than I do. I may know a little bit, but you know more, that sometimes this migration involves the most talented and the most skilled population from one country or an area moving to another area. This is something that's worth discussing. It's something that we need to keep in mind if we're discussing sustainable development goals, and we hope to accomplish them in this decade, by 2030. Then we need to consider all things considered. We need to bring all issues, everything on the table, and dialogue about it, so nations and individuals can know how to navigate and how to push forward for success. So you know that the most talented, the most skilled. Myself, I am an immigrant from Africa to the United States, and everything that I carry, I brought here from there. So there are so many skilled people and talented people that leave one area and migrate to another. How does this movement affect youth employment and the economy?
So, for example, there are youth that leave from their developed country or community that can be the next president, can be the next prime minister, can be the next agent of change for making the country even better, they move to the States or they move to better equipped countries. Like I mentioned before, there's Natalie Portman from Israel that really strives to become a better actress or promote herself to be a better representative in the movie industry. As you may know, she did the movie of Wonder Woman, and trust me, with her background, that facilitated that door for her to be super famous in Hollywood. That is very rare. It does not happen every single day. So we also have Arnold Schwarzenegger, who became an icon in the movie industry in Hollywood. There's also Albert Einstein, a great scholar for the scientific community that came to the States after the Holocaust, after World War II. I mean, people are willing to change, and those people that left their countries, regardless if they're a developed country or not, or a better country, they seek out better opportunities, better enhancement of what they can bring to the table. They didn't just come in and they know these things. They were educated and brought up by these environments that they were in through the educational and in media of the arts. So we have to know what's sustainable for everyone. We also have to make sure we have the strong faith either to do this or we make it happen. We don't seek these opportunities, we create these opportunities. We have to make sure we represent and we are engaged in our own community to bring back what we can return and guarantee that we're concrete proof of success.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Valentin. You know, up until you and I had the dialogue a few days ago, I think it was more than a week ago, I had not even thought about movie stars. I had not even thought about professional musicians that are in the US or other countries that are not originally from those places. And that is talent, that is skill that has left one place and has traveled to another place. So we are having this conversation because we are talking to leaders of nations, and we are saying, why allow our young people to die in the waters in search of a better life? Why allow our young talent to leave the countries in search of a better life because there are no jobs, because there are no opportunities, because the programs are the programs are mismanaged, and the income that's coming in, the projects, they are hoarded by a certain number of people, and they're only inviting their own family members and their crew and their clan. And this is affecting other young people who are in other areas and are not exposed to this opportunity. They are leaving. Leaders of nations, you are listening to me right now. Politicians, you are connected, you are logged in. Listen to me. This should be in your manifesto. What can we do to maintain the talent in our country, in our continent, so we can impact the economy? So we don't have to always beg for money somewhere else, because there is talent, enough talent in every country, in every society, in every nation, in every continent. There is enough talent to bring that economy in. There is enough talent. Oh my goodness, there is enough talent. Open up the industries, the movie industry. How many countries have it? We cannot all depend on coming to Hollywood. It is great, but then that's great talent leaving your shores and contributing elsewhere. So, Valentin, let's continue on. You will agree with me that the UN is just a conduit. They are just a vehicle to effect the SDGs. However, the reason I'm talking to leaders of nations, because they have a responsibility. Leaders of nations, citizens of nations, anybody with a voice in any nation, anybody with a position, a title in any nation, anybody who wears a crown in any nation, anybody who has money and resources and connections and network in any nation, everyone has a responsibility. And this responsibility is to preserve, to take action that will help them preserve the talent, the skills, and the values of their young population. So Valentin, in your view, what type of programs should leaders implement to protect the economies of their countries?
Yes. I would like to add before we add this information. I just want to make sure that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the youngest representative in Congress for District 14 for the New York, for the Bronx and Queens, and I was delighted to meet her. And she's young and she has a vast wealth of experience. And when it comes related to that, there are organizations. We just have to research online. Everything is online. It's not like it was previous informations where everything else was on paper. We have to seek out these specific people to volunteer or do an internship or get as the UN Youth Envoy represented officially that some internships will be paid in the next coming or is it presently there in depending on the country, depending on your country of origin, there for example, there is embassies that promote educational leadership for youth in various communities, even indigenous communities who need to be represented. There are structures, and they even paid for sponsorships to travel to international organizations to speak, to learn, to educate themselves, to advocate for themselves, and know what relevant information is out there. We also have to ensure that youth are able to be represented on the table, and they're doing that little by little. But how far are we going to keep waiting if we search for these communities who don't have the representation that they need? As you mentioned, yes, there are ambassadors and there are officials of the state members who have other situations to deal with, but they also keep in mind youth. They're just waiting for youth to be there, to be represented, so they can showcase their work, their leadership, their advocacy, their skills that are gifted, polyglots who are hidden, that work in business, that work in education, that work in other various sectors. We also have to take into account that by 2050, this is just for the continent of Africa alone, more than 28 million youth will be in between the ages of 14 and 29. And that's a vast wealth of youth that can advocate for the continent of Africa alone. We need to ensure that we bring these resources and these ambitious to raise capable leaders of tomorrow so that they can bring developed countries to become superpowers. So we need to make sure that we seek out these online informations, and most of these educational accreditations are free. Like I'm gonna go there and get stuff for free because it's online. But we also have to take into account that rural communities and rural sectors don't have internet infrastructures to engage in these free educational courses. So we have to bring and raise capable youth to know what it means to bring free education in the international and local levels. So that's why we want to travel, invest in youth, and reinvest in these organizations. So that's what I myself for one am doing that. I'm not just doing the talk, I'm doing the walk. So that's what I'm doing, showcasing the leaderships in various different countries, in Nigeria, in Tanzania. I also would like to do more engagement with youth representation in the Gambia, which personally I feel very close connected to, Ghana, and other parts of everywhere around the world globally.
Thank you so much, Valentine. I hope that young people, you are listening. I hope that leaders of nations, especially, I hope that leaders of organizations, listen, all the young people that are out there starting entrepreneurship business, starting organizations, we are so proud of you. However, what we are saying is do seek a solid vision, because the purpose here is this: every organization must have a solid vision to bring a solution. Every organization must be able to prepare youth and equip them to be able to sit at the table and advocate for themselves. Valentine just shared with us what will happen by 2050. And we have to prepare African youth, not only give them money and fund them to start initiatives, but empowering them with education, empowering them with relevant skills training. So when they are drawn and called to the table of dialogue, they are representing the continent. They are aware of issues. They understand how to dialogue about issues. They understand where the solution lies and exactly what needs to be done to bring that solution to the nation or to the continent. And I'm telling you, young people, we need to be prepared. Yeah, train yourself, get educated, get connected. Valentine shared about the free resources that are available. Don't sit around in your house. I meet too many young people just crying, complaining, and whining about what they have not been offered. I mean, preparedness will attract opportunity. I say that again, preparedness will attract opportunity. If you are prepared, if you guard your waist, if you have a wealth of knowledge, if you are a river of knowledge, you become fluid, you become attractive, you will be invited, you will have to seek for opportunities, opportunities will come looking for you. So we want you to be positioned. Immigration and migration, we can manage this thing. Because if you have the skill, don't wait to go to another country to discover that you are skilled in acting or you are skilled in writing. Practice it where you are right now because the resources are available. And by the time you leave your country, you would have discovered what you carry. And you would have understood, I am going there for such a time, for this period of time, and I am coming back. And when I come back, this is exactly what I'll be bringing back to my people, to my continent, to my community. Young people, I hope you are listening. This is Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum, the table of dialogue. This is where we break big ideas into smaller pieces so everybody can understand, everybody can participate, everybody can walk away with a nugget or two. Valentine Kamano, we thank you so much for joining us in this dialogue today, and we thank you for the valuable knowledge you shared with all of us. Valentine, continue to travel, continue to go to those communities where a lot of us cannot go, and continue to teach our young people protocol, continue to teach them diplomacy. Our people, young people, need to be prepared in order for you to attract the opportunities you are thinking about in your head. You have to be prepared for them, because when you come to a platform, you want to deliver. You want to liberate people. You want to speak in a way that people are set free. And that cannot happen because if you are not equipped, because what you carry, young people, is what you give. So feed yourself, prepare yourself, arm yourself, so wherever you go, you become a person of impact, a person of influence, like Valentine over here. Valentine, we thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best of luck in your journey, and we hope that you'll be able to join us another time. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Wow, 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 wow. I don't know how you're feeling, but I am hot on fire. Can you tell in my voice? Can you tell in my disposition? Can you tell? I am finding it very hard to sit still. And I don't know what's happening on Facebook. I'm not able to see it. I don't know what's happening on social media. But the report I'm receiving is positive. I'm receiving report that there are so many viewers logged in right now. They are logged in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, are logged into the platform right now, listening, tuned in. Everybody is welcome to the table, and we have many countries represented here and many continents. This is from an hour ago, so I can't wait to see what is happening right now. But from an hour ago or longer, we had Gambia in the house, we had Mauritius, we had South Africa, USA, Kenya, Mexico, UK, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Guyana, Nigeria, Comoros, Qatar, India, Zimbabwe, and the list goes on. I am waiting for the most updated list. This was more than an hour ago. And look how many countries are tuned in. Look how many people are being transformed, how many people are being touched. This is what this platform is all about. This is Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum, and this is brought to you by Coaches of Influence Foundation in collaboration with Global Youth Leaders Network. And these are all organizations that are working with young people. These are organizations that are focused on transformation. And our topic today is focusing on how we can educate youth to understand what value they can bring to the economy. The topic today is effective youth participation in economic growth. And this topic is derived from the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which zeroes in on decent work and economic growth. I am so full. I am so full, but we are not done yet. We invited you to the table and we are still seated at the table. So please be seated. Grab water if you need to. Grab your coffee if you need to. Grab some snack if you need to. Grab a friend. Grab a boss. Grab a coworker. Grab another youth. Grab a leader. Grab a follower, grab a mentee and a mentor, grab everybody you can and direct them, because all roads are leading to this platform, Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum. Thank you all for joining, and keep inviting, keep sharing, keep drawing people to come, because their lives will be transformed when they join this platform. Our final speaker, that doesn't mean we're done. We're still on, we're still seated. And because we invited you to the table, I hope that you will allow us to rise up first before you leave the table. Allow the invitees to get, but because we are seated, we please encourage you to be seated. And our final speaker is an influential leader representing the continent of Africa at the table of dialogue. And I am so pleased, it's an honor for me to invite to this table Honorable Karu Simon Elisha, all the way from Nigeria. Nigeria in the house. Honorable Simon, are you ready?
Yes, I am, absolutely. Patiently waiting.
All right, your camera is not on, so we cannot see you.
Yeah, I can see you. I think the moderator will have to put it on, because I'm on the video as well.
Okay, we'll work on that technical part for now. Let's focus on the dialogue, because we shared your video some weeks ago on social media. Were you speaking?
Yeah, it tells me that I am on the show and everyone can see and hear me.
Okay, all right, great. So we will, like I said, we'll focus on the content here, because you bring so much. And we had the privilege to share your video some days ago and a week ago on our social media platforms, and telling people who you are, and they will get to hear from you. And what you have to share is the biggest introduction that the audience can have. So Honorable Karu, you have a very impressive biography. However, there are some contributions that you have made that just cannot be omitted from this dialogue. They are very relevant to this dialogue. Honorable, you are a current member of the 9th National Assembly of Nigeria. And way before you ventured into politics, you were the first elected YMCA Northern Zone Youth President. And you currently serve as the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Human Rights at the National Assembly. And you are also the current secretary of the Young Parliamentarian Forum of the 9th Assembly of Nigeria. Honorable Karu, welcome to the table of dialogue presented by Coaches of Influence Foundation and Global Youth Leaders Network.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you, Honorable. Your contribution in this, there you go, now we can see you. Your contribution in this dialogue is going to center on how unemployment and unattractive wages can lure youth into terrorism, and the truth that investing in youth can counter terrorism. That will be the center of our focus in this dialogue. So Honorable Karu, I will go, unless you have something you want to say, I want to dive right into the dialogue.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation to be on this platform, and also to contribute my little experience in community service and in politics as it is currently. Once again, thank you very much, and I appreciate the connection that we were able to establish a couple of years ago. This is what it has yielded, and I'm so glad and proud of this connection. You mentioned unemployment and terrorism in Africa. Well, I would like to look at it from the fact that those are just indicators of certain energy that rests and lies within the African continent. And being the wealthiest continent in the world, Africa is bound to face quite a lot of challenges. And what makes us indeed the wealthiest nation and a superpower in the world is our ability to counter and overcome this dynamics of problems and social, political, and socio-economic issues we have in Africa. So I am of the opinion that terrorism and unemployment is a matter of leadership. It's a matter of how well we're able to flip the coin. Africa, like I said, being the wealthiest in the world, has virtually every form of resource that the world has. There's hardly any source of, there's hardly any value, be it in terms of wealth, of mineral or human resource, or any form of economic value that the world has that is not represented in Africa. Africa has a fraction of everything that the world has. So I look beyond the circumstances of unemployment and terrorism that has been evident. If Africa has faced this numerous colonial era, pre-slavery, to slavery era, to post-colonial, post-slavery, and we're still riding on as Africans, what it means is that Africans are resilient, and then we have a future that is right before us. I'm confident that Africa will overcome this in no distant time. And this leads me to talk about, in reference to what the African continent has actually designed as a vision, which we call the Africa we want. Looking at the contents of the Agenda 2063, Africa is set for prosperity, and Africa is set to put these negative indices and dynamics behind us. So I'm confident that Africa is prosperous, and Africa will definitely overcome this in no distant time.
Awesome, awesome. Are you listening, young people? Is this not encouraging? I love what you said, Honorable. You said Africa is the wealthiest continent, and we are not only wealthy because of resources. We're not only wealthy because of natural resources, but the ability to weather the storm. Oh my God, that is so powerful. Young people, I hope you're listening. Honorable is saying that you are strong, you are resilient, you are able to weather the storm, because some of the issues that exist in Africa, they cannot exist in some other continents. They will not, but we weather it. You are standing strong, and things are happening. I'm very excited. Honorable, how do you think Nigeria, and I before I go there to the question, I like what you stated. Terrorism is a matter of leadership. It reminds me of our mentor, you and I, our mentor, John Maxwell, what he says. He said, everything rises and falls on leadership. Not some things, all things considered. Terrorism is also not a matter of disruptive youth. It's not a matter of ungrateful youth. It's not a matter of youth who think they deserve everything. Terrorism is a matter of leadership. I hope our leaders are listening. Everything rises and falls on leadership, including terrorism. That is so powerful. And you talked about the Vision 2016, which is the Africa we want. Young people, I hope you are buckling your seatbelts, and I hope you're writing your vision right now as you're listening. How can you be a part of this Africa we want? What are you doing today to position yourself to make economic impact in Africa and contribute to taking Africa to the place where everybody envisions is to be? This is so powerful, Honorable. I have a question for you, though. How do you think Nigeria and Africa as a whole can meet SDG 8 amidst their current security and economic challenges?
Well, it takes me back to my earlier introduction. That not in terms of human resources, not in terms of natural resources like mentioned earlier, but it is wealthy in terms of the human potentials we have. I still call it potential because some are yet to understand and unlock what they have. And that is what SDG 8 talks about. But rather than talking about SDG 8, which is centered on promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all, I would rather speak from the African perspective, where we have an agenda called the Africa We Want, Agenda 2063, which states that that's the aspiration one. Aspiration one states a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. If you look at what we have as the SDG 8 and the number one aspiration for Africa, it tells you that while SDG looks at it as number 8, Africa looks at it as number one because we are the wealthiest of nations. So I am confident that what the Africa we want is a reality, is a vision. And I love what the last speaker mentioned in terms of the population in Africa and the index of the demography that will look like in the next 30 to 40 years. It is projected by the Africa Union that Africa will become youngest in the next 30 years, with close to 80% of Africa's population younger than the age of 20. This is a huge resource, but except you understand that we have a powerful category of people who are the most productive workforce, and Africa is going to own them in the next 30 years. So I am confident that we will fly as a world power, not just in wealth, but in terms of every forms of economic development and wealth. So I see that Africa has already positioned herself to take its place in the world by making the first aspiration what the United Nations has as SDG. We have it as our number one aspiration. And it is in focusing on our human resource, not our natural resources, that makes Africa take the leading position in defining what our world looks like post-COVID era.
Great, awesome, awesome. You know what? I was right there in the middle of taking notes. I am learning. I am also soaking in because Honorable Karu, I know you personally, and I know you are a wealth of knowledge. Oh my God, Africa is wealthy. This is what you say. In human capacity, we are wealthy because of the people. But the thing is that, like Honorable said, most people in Africa, especially the youth, may be unaware of what they carry, may be unaware. Young people, I hope you are listening. Africa is ready for transformation. Not only what we see on the outside, but we are ready for inward transformation, because transformation begins from the inside, and a transformed human being brings transformation around them. So Africa is ready to work on itself inside. So I hope that those of you watching and listening, and those that will watch later on, as young people of Africa, we are counting on you. The reason we are working so hard and burning the midnight candle and sleepless nights and laboring, because we believe in you. And I hope that you believe in yourself enough to know that you can bring the transformation that Africa hungers for. Honorable Karu, what do you think is required to enable Nigeria or Africa to meet SDG 8 and many other goals that are set out there?
Well, I think it's simple. Just like I said earlier, that Africa is set already to take its place in the world. We should look at Aspiration 6, and I would want to quote that. It says, an African whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially its women and youth, caring for children. So I think Africa has got it right already, because that's our aspiration number 6, understanding the potential of the people, particularly the youth and women, and not excluding children. We need to invest more in developing the capacities, the cognitive capacities of our young people, tailored into the various sectors for development. We must identify these potential values that are within Africa, from our culture to the skills we have, to the artisan skills we have, to transform them to advanced technologies. How do you improve the life of a young carpenter to become a world power producer of furniture and the rest of other materials that is carved out of wood? Africa has the natural resources embedded there. What we need to do is to translate our human capacities into workable opportunities that will give us the desired result and expected result of Africa we want. But I think I would like to contextualize the Africa we want to an individual. It is not enough for Africa to design a vision which is as laudable as the Africa we want 2063 project. It is best for Africa to translate this into programs and to also take the individual citizens and let these individuals own the process. Africa can have fantastic policies, we can have fantastic design of programs, But so long as it does not translate the life of the young man moving on the streets of Nairobi, the young girl in Sudan, the young person in Borno in Nigeria, so long as they do not feel the effects of this transformed individuality, Africa we want 2063 will come and pass, and nothing will change in Africa. So I think that the African government and the young people we have today need to demand for accountability, first from the citizens, and second from our government. A lot of times when we talk about accountability, we are quick to look at politicians, what our politicians are doing. But the citizens have the second leg of accountability to demand for it. So I am confident that the young people who are privileged to be part of this conversation will begin to chart a course for a new Africa, for a new Nigeria, and for a new world power, which is the African continent.
Wow, 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 wow. You are inspiring young people. We have a lot of young people in our network that follow us and watch these programs, and they are aspiring politicians. And many of them have not seen good examples of politicians. Many of them have not heard politicians speak eloquently. And right now they are so inspired. They are sending kudos. They are sending love. They are sending comments. You are shaking them. You are moving them. Young people, listen. Listen, what I'm getting from Honorable Karu is similar to what I got from the previous speakers. And he is simply saying, you need to think about the education you're pursuing today. Think about the training programs that you're running and attending. Think about all the mentorship programs that you belong to. Think about the job that you're pursuing. Stop and ask yourself a question. What is this job? What is this training? What is this program? What is it adding to my life? What is it getting me out of? According to Honorable Collins, he said education is supposed to bring you out of something. And you are supposed to stop and ask yourself questions. Training programs, education and employment, jobs and entrepreneurship and all these things that young people are plugged into right now, Honorable, you'll agree with me that it is supposed to bring them out of darkness into light. It is supposed to bring them out of the place of redundancy to relevance. It's supposed to bring them out of the place of hopelessness to I can do it. It is supposed to bring them out of the place of sitting around and waiting for opportunities to rising up and going after opportunities. This is what the Africa that we want to see. This is the Africa that we deserve. This is the continent that we want to see. This is the agenda that we are driving on this platform. Young people of all nations, all continents, all tribes, listen up, listen up, listen up. Honorable, we have one more question for you. We can stay here all day because I love to dialogue with you. You are so deep and you are so full of knowledge. But Honorable, when do you think the Nigerian, let's focus now on Nigeria. When do you think the Nigerian youth should step up based on your confidence in them? Because I follow you and I hear you speak about the youth in Nigeria on many platforms, and your heart is with the Nigerian young people. Your heart is with the youth population, and you are looking for their best interest. You are not looking to prostitute them, but you are looking to bring them out of that place of prostitution into the place of liberation and impact. When do you think that these Nigerian youth should step up based on your confidence in them to champion development in Nigeria? I think we just lost Honorable, but I believe that he will come back. But viewers, oh my goodness, viewers, are you moved? Are you touched? Are you being impacted? I'm not hearing from you. Let us see those comments coming through. Tell us how you're feeling. But quickly, let me share some data with you, data that I have received. From the last 45 minutes or so, we have had more than 1,800 viewers on the different platforms. And I think this is only coming from 2 platforms. We are not even accounting for the YouTube. We are not accounting for YouTube. Coaches of Influence Foundation YouTube is streaming. Facebook pages of Coaches of Influence Foundation and Global Youth Leaders Network are streaming, and LinkedIn pages are streaming. But this data, I believe, is only coming from a couple of sources. And on those couple of sources, in the last 45 minutes, we've had more than 1,800 people watching. we had more than 75 shares on those platforms. And we had more than, so many comments going back and forth on those platforms. People are being shaken. People are being moved. People are being rattled. The foundation is shaking. Oh my goodness, young people, join the dialogue. And whilst we wait on Honorable Karu to join us again, we are going to invite another dynamic youth from the continent of Africa, from the country of Ghana. And he is going to be our final performer for the day today. And we are inviting Ewura Adams Karim to the platform of dialogue. Ewura, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Dr. Margaret. It's a pleasure connecting with you and your viewers worldwide.
Thank you so much. And Ewura, you are very much aware of the topic of discussion at this table today. We are talking about effective youth participation in economic growth. And this topic is derived from the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which zeroes in on decent work and economic growth. But Ewura, let's talk about you for a moment. Let me introduce you to the audience. I'm sure a lot of people out there, a lot of young, I don't want to say young ladies, because I don't know your marital status. I don't want to offend any young lady, but all I'm saying is I can see some young ladies going, oh, he's so handsome. So let me introduce you to them. You are actively involved in community leadership, and Absolutely. You are involved in agriculture, in performing arts, in entrepreneurship, and the list goes on. You have a 3-page biography. My goodness. When I was reading through all of it, I was wondering, how old is he? But anyway, we're moving on. And you are a social entrepreneur who is passionate about youth and women development. You have performed on several major stages in the country of Ghana, and you are also the current creative director of Creativity Express Enterprise. And I believe that I have seen in your bio also that you have been in several movies in the country or some kind of performance in the country. You will tell us yourself. And you are just, wow. Let me take a breath. Wow. Ewura, welcome to Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum. And thank you for our invitation to serve.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being part of today's event.
So what are you going to present today?
So I have a poem that I entitled Tell Them. So it basically captures, where I come from as a young man, and how proud and passionate I am about where I come from as a young man growing up in Ghana, in Africa. So this poem basically captures all the beauties of where I come from and the reason why there's a need for me to stay and build it, to reach whatever levels that a lot of young people aspire for their countries to reach. I've seen lots of young people, want to leave Ghana, want to leave the African continent, go see greener pastures outside. But then I believe strongly that there's a lot of potential down here, and so there's a need for us as young people to stay and build. So that's why I put this particular piece together, just to serve as an inspiration and reminder to myself and as many other young people out there. And so, if you'd permit me, this is Tell Them.
Tell them. Tell us, sir.
Tinikulie yanibo, wayo. Tinikulie yanibo, wae. Tinikulie yanibo, wayo. Tinikulie yanibo, wae. When anyone asks you why I behave like I do, tell them that I'm a young man from far whose destiny has brought me this near. Tell them that I cannot afford to fail the very people who look up to me on a daily for inspiration. Tell them that as a mission unaccomplished, and so I cannot stop to take second stares at backing dogs, that I am my own motivation. Tell them that I'm a young man with a vision on a mission to a destination that will redeem my people from condemnation. Tell them that I'm that small Gonja boy who wouldn't stop until I achieve. Tell them that I'm a descendant of the spear holder, the warrior king, he who goes to the stream with a basket, he who weaves rocks with his palms. Indeed, tell them that I'm a true pedigree of the legendary leader Ndeura Jakba, the warrior king who came from far and never failed. Tell them that I'm the grandson of the conqueror. Tell them the wildlife of Mole is my playground, that I'm spiritually fortified the azan of the Muazzin at Labba. Tell them that a mystery stone listens to my prayers at all times. Tell them that I hail from the Boya, the land of the white gold. Tell them that the fabrics of my batikri are carefully selected by the best of small weavers. Their patterns arranged by the magnificent maidens enameled in melanin. Tell them that I'm not a hungry child, that my home is a cradle of agriculture, the heart of food, and the pond of fish. The Dakar, the white and black Volta lakes pass through my grandfather's house. Tell them that I'm a lion who hunts not wounded animals, that I'm bold, I am brave, I am fearless, and I hail from Africa. Tell them that I will stay and build. Like an Nkrumah, I will redeem my people from the hands of oppression. Tell them that Mandela set for new and united Africa, that I'm a voice of a Lumumba, the fist of a Kagame. Tell them that the Mediterranean will not have a feel of my flesh, that I will stay home and build. Tell them that I'm an African rising high to the tippy top of the Kilimanjaro, flowing through the Zambezi, the Nile, and the Dakar. Tell them that although my founding fathers are no more, I shall carry on with their work till I am no more. For growth knows no barriers, it knows no age limit, and has no expiration dates. And so as long as the human species continues to multiply, so shall I grow. Tell them. Thank you. My name is Kareem.
Woo! Kareem, you brought tears to my eyes. I'm over here fighting tears. I'm over here. I can just feel the pride of being an African rising in me. Like, oh my goodness. Young people, are you listening? When you said the Mediterranean will not get a piece of my flesh. Where is Ghana? Is Ghana in the house? Wherever you are, to Ghana, you are in the house. Ghana, where are you? We need to see your comments. Ghana, come on, talk about this young man that has just represented your nation so well. Oh my goodness, this is poetry. My God. Okay, so I'm sitting here going, wow, I can just feel the tears welling from my belly, like the pride of being an African. And when you said, as a mother, when I heard you say, the Mediterranean will not get a piece of me, it quickly raptured my mind to all those images I see of our young people sinking in the Mediterranean, our young people dying, Oh my goodness. Ewura, Adams Kareem. I wish that we can have a replay of this poem. Stick around, because I think Honorable Karu is maybe coming back to finish up. And if he is, then after he finishes up, I want to hear this poem again. I want to hear it again. Please just stick around for a moment. Let's see if Honorable Karu will come down. And if not, I would like you to stick around. Allow me to close the program, and then you come and usher us out with this poem and with this song, because this is so deep.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Are you inspired? Are you inspired? Is Honorable Karu back in the house? If he is back in the house, let me know, producer, let me know so we can bring him on. He has one final question to address. And in the meantime, let me just give you a quick update of who's watching with you. We do have a few moments ago, more than 2,426 viewers, and this is only on a couple of platforms. Last month, when we were online, we had more than 9,000 viewers online with us, actively online with us at the time of the program, and by that evening we had exceeded 10,000 views of this program. So I know that when we get off this program today, we have hit thousands and thousands of people in nations and countries where we don't even think that they join such a platform, and they do. So let me quickly give you a run through. Ghana is in the house, Guyana is in the house, Brazil is here, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, UK, Mexico, Kenya, USA, South Africa, Mauritius, the Gambia, they are all connected, and more countries, they are giving me more updates. They are all connected, and I have received great news that Honorable Karu Simon Elisha is back with us in the studio. And Honorable, welcome back, because I want you to really talk to us about this last question I had about what you think, what your thoughts are concerning the Nigerian youth. When do you think they should step up based on your confidence in them, based on your confidence in all the youth of Africa? When do you think they will step up to champion development in Nigeria and in Africa? Honorable Karu? Okay, they are still working on him. So let me move on for now. Was that not a powerful presentation by Ewura Adams Karim? If you believe so, give us a thumbs up. If you believe so, let me hear from you. Say something. Say something, say something, say something. Is Honorable Karu ready? All right. Viewers, speakers, and performers, supporters, those who love us, those who push us, thank you so much for adding your voices and your contributions to make this dialogue meaningful today. And the Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum is a monthly event, and which is intended to bring key players, key speakers in youth development from different continents and countries to the table of dialogue to provide us with knowledge and vision for the youth. And the UN has already projected that by 2030, this is for the whole world. And we have a different agenda for Africa for 2050. But by 2030, the population of youth is expected to have grown by 7%. From what it is now to nearly 1.3 billion young people by 2030. That's just 9 years from now. It's even less than 9 years, because we are almost at the end of 1 year. So that is very close. It's coming up close. And in this short time that is coming up, we are going to have more than 1.3 billion young people. And this population can be very useful in the development of our nations and the world if they are equipped and provided with the knowledge and opportunities they need to unleash the power that is within them. Guyline and COIF, these two organizations chose SDG 8 as the main theme of the forum because it focuses on youth education, youth training, and youth employment. Youth should be given, this is the opinion and the viewpoint of Coaches of Influence Foundation and also Global Youth Leaders Network. This is the dialogue internally that youth should be given the opportunity to acquire the relevant education and skills training they need in order for them to contribute in building a robust economy of their countries, of their continent, and of the world at large. And the training programs that are designed for youth must be accompanied by a well thought out and comprehensive curriculum, which is supposed to intend for them to provide them with the skills they need and drive them to productivity following the training. Our young people should not be attending training and not be productive after the training. Our young people should not be in a week-long or 2 weeks long program and come out the same. Because from what we have learned from Honorable Astel Collins this morning is that education is supposed to bring you out of something. And our young people, when you go into any program, when you go into any training going forward, when you attend any university, any institute, I want you to think twice. When you get to that door, before you enter that building or that premises, I want you to stop and ask yourself, how is this what I am going to get here? What is it going to get me out of? How is it going to transform me internally so I can transform outwardly? Because it all begins from the inside. What you carry is what you give. What you carry is what you give. What is in you is what people partake in. What you take in is what you bring out. So people, young people, listen up and listen to me. This is why we have this platform. This is why we are talking to you, because we believe that the UN is just a conduit to development, but you and I have the responsibility to get youth from the position of consumer to a place of solution provider. This is what we want for you young people. We don't want you to continue to consume. We don't want you to sit around in your countries waiting for every opportunity to come, running around and looking for every project you can get plugged in, looking around and you are in 10 different programs and still you remain untransformed. You need to stop and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? What is going wrong here? What is going wrong is that you are not evaluating. What is going wrong that you may not have a vision for your life. You are just seeking opportunities, but you are not looking to be a solution. What could be going wrong is that you don't see how you're being used by people who take from you but don't pour into you. A little $1,000 given to you to start a business cannot sustain you for 20 years. You need more than $1,000. You need knowledge to equip you, knowledge to keep you grounded, solid in the ground, knowledge to keep you bolted in the ground. And we know that the UN is just a conduit. But the organizations, the leaders of nations, the leaders of organizations, and our dynamic youth, we should all take responsibility to position the young people to go from being a consumer and taking them to a place of solution provider. We need to focus on building the knowledge base of our young people, because it is true that people can never rise above the knowledge they acquire. And let me say that again. Young people, you will never be able to rise above the knowledge that you acquire. The knowledge you acquire becomes the ceiling, and you can rise as far as the knowledge that you acquire. If you fail to read, then you'll fail in leading, because leaders are learners, and learners become leaders. So young people, seek education, seek solid training, seek development, not only opportunities. Seek to grow. Seek to be a person of impact. Coaches of Influence Foundation and Global Youth Network would like to thank you for joining us today. Unfortunately, we are not able to get Honorable Karu back. He just sent a comment recently on the platform, but for some reason he's not able to get back into the forum. So in the meantime, if we're able to get him between now and when we close, we'll still want to hear from him. But in the meantime, I want to bring back Ewura Kareem Adams Kareem. Sir, gentleman, why don't you come back and give us a piece of that poem again, a piece of that performance again? Ewura, are you in the house?
Yes, I'm here with you.
All right, you are welcome. Tell us again, what is your inspiration behind this poem?
Inspiration behind this poem, just as I mentioned, I think that there's a lot of amazing potential that we have in Africa, but every now and then, as a result of several reasons, we get a lot of young people wanting to flee from here and go abroad to seek greener pastures. Well, to some extent, you cannot blame them, because obviously systems here do not necessarily work in favor of young people, and so lots of them want to go out there. But then also, to me, I believe strongly that there's a lot that we can capitalize on here as young people. There are a lot of opportunities that we with the right mindset, will be able to take advantage of. And so I just want to urge young people out there that, as much as it's tough, can we overlook the negatives and look at the positives? Let's look at the beauties that our country and our continent has to offer, and focus more on them, and then allow those things to propel us into whatever it is that we want to do, want to become. That's why I've written this particular piece, just to serve as inspiration to young people, and to serve as a reminder that it's possible that we can stay in Africa and build it to become the continent that we want it to be.
Thank you so much, Ewura. We are ready. You know what? I want young people, I want you to go to our Facebook page, Global Youth Leaders Network Facebook page and LinkedIn pages, and go to Global Youth and Coaches of Influence Foundation YouTube page. Go to the LinkedIn pages, and we want you to tag, pound tell them, Ewura Adams Kareem, pound tell them, Ewura, hashtag Go on social media. We want you to we want this to go viral. Every African young person needs to hear this. Every young person in any other continent of the world need to hear this poem. So hashtag tell them, hashtag Ewura Adams Kareem. All right, let's go. Sir, take it away. The floor is all yours. Let me get myself together so I don't cry on camera. And whilst I listen to you perform.
When anyone asks you why I behave like I do, tell them that I'm a young man from far whose destiny has brought me this near. Tell them that I cannot afford to fail the very people who look up to me on a daily for inspiration. Tell them that as a mission unaccomplished and so I cannot stop to take second stares at backing dogs, that I am my own motivation. Tell them that I'm a young man with a vision on a mission to a destination that will redeem my people from condemnation. Tell them that I'm that small Gonja boy who wouldn't stop until I achieve. Tell them that I'm a descendant of the spear holder, the warrior king, he who goes to the stream with a basket, he who weaves rocks with his palms. Indeed, tell them that I'm a true pedigree of the legendary leader Ndewura Jakpa, the warrior king who came from fire and never failed. Tell them that I'm a grandson of the conqueror. Tell them that the wildlife of Mole is my playground, that I'm spiritually fortified by the azan of the muazzin at Larabanga. Tell them that a mystery stone listens to my prayers at all times. Tell them that I hail from Daboya, the land of the white gold. Tell them that the fabrics of my batakari are carefully selected by the best of smoke weavers. Their patterns arranged by the magnificent maidens enameled in melanin. Tell them that I am not a hungry child, that my home is the cradle of agriculture, the hub of food, and the pond of fish. The Dakar, the white and black Volta lakes pass through my grandfather's house. Tell them that I'm a lion who hunts not wounded animals, that I'm bold, I am brave, I am fearless, and I hail from Africa. Tell them that I will stay and build. Like an Nkrumah, I will redeem my people from the hands of oppression. Tell them that I'm Mandela set for a new and united Africa, that I'm a voice of Lumumba, the fist of a Kagame. Tell them that a Mediterranean will not have a feel of my flesh, that I will stay and build. Tell that I'm an African rising high to the tippy top of the Kilimanjaro, flowing through the Zambezi, the Nile, and the Dakar. Tell them that although my founding fathers are no more, I shall carry on with their work till I am no more. For growth knows no barriers. It knows no age limits and has no expiration dates. And so for long as the human species continues to multiply, so shall I grow. My name is Kareem.
Kareem, before I say anything, I want that song though, the song you sang in the beginning. I want that song. Wow, what does that mean?
So it's this is an indigenous the Ghana song. It's a language spoken by the people in northern Ghana. You know, so it's one of the songs sung during one of the festivals that we have here.
Thank you so much, Ewura. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get myself together and remain professional because you came and knocked me off my seat. Thank you so much. Young people listening, watching from all over the world. You have someone, a gentleman in the Gambia, also called Abdul Kareem, and he is loving you. He's sending comment after comment. He's texting pound Ewura Adams, pound Ewura Kareem, and he just now texted, "This is my Kareem." So you are across the continents of the world. This poem has shaken a lot of young people. You came to tell them they are able. You came to tell them they are resilient. You came to tell them they are bold and big and fearless. You came to tell them they are bigger than poverty. They are bigger than lack. You came to tell them they are bigger than the wind of opposition that seems to rise up against them. You came to tell them they are a powerhouse. You came to tell them that transformation is in the palm of their hand. Ewura, I can go on and on, But sir, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on this platform today. You have added your voice and we heard you, sir. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we
you
look
so
forward to having you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, viewers, are you full like me? My goodness, are you full? I'm grateful I didn't have breakfast before I came to this dialogue table, because here I have been fed and overfed. But I have great news. Honorable Simon Carew is back in the house. I just love this leader, and he is so full of knowledge, full of power, and we really want to hear from him. Tell us about the youth in Africa, the youth in Nigeria, about when they can step up based on the confidence that he has in them, based on the confidence that Coaches of Influence Foundation have in them, based on the confidence that Global Youth Leaders Network have in them to champion development in Nigeria and in Africa. Is Honorable Carew ready?
Yes, I am.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you very much, and sorry for going off. I kept struggling with my computer, and then much later I decided to use my phone. I don't know if the computer is jealous of this presentation, but my computer, my handset is more powerful than the computer, so it has given me access back on the internet. So once again, thank you very much, and I had your question correctly. I would say that now is the time for the African youth to step up. Contrary to world's opinion about COVID-19 and its effects in Africa, there is no greater blessing that Africa has ever had like the COVID-19. Post-COVID-19 will justify the abundance that will come to Africa. Look at it. COVID has taken everything online. This very event might have been hosted in the US. But COVID has made it open to everybody around the world.
That's right.
At no cost. All you need to do is to log on. So this enough is a blessing in itself. So there's no better time for the African youth to rise up than an opportunity like that. If the political space have been taken over by some political bigots who have refused to allow spaces for young people to get involved, the COVID era has shifted the dynamics and changed the narrative that everything has to be technology based. And there is no category, there is no demography of the world population that has the highest number of persons participating in IT and online activities than the young people. So I feel this is the best time for young people to get involved. And I want to call on young people here and outside Africa that leadership is a river, not a reservoir, a marathon, not a race. So let the water flow, and don't forget to pass the baton when it is time to hand over to somebody else. This is what will make Africa great, because in Africa, so many leaders have sat on political offices and have refused to give spaces for young people. Let's remind them that it's a baton, and also remind them that it's a river. Let it flow. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this show. And I feel very blessed to be part of it. And God bless you.
You see, Honorable Carew, you just touch a nerve there. Leaders in current seats must understand that this is a baton. It is not meant to be held and hoarded or broken. It's meant to be handled carefully and passed on to the next generation, to the next runners up. And you are imploring all leaders to release the baton. Release it and pass it on. We have some capable young people. We have some ready young people. We have some amazing young people. We have some prepared young people. Young people who are well marinated, well seasoned. They have been working. It is a baton, release it. It is a baton, release it, because we need to hear more voices. And I am so excited about this platform, Honorable, because we will get to, as we progress month by month, we will start bringing, like we did in the last forum also, we brought youth from different parts of the world so they can tell us what they are doing. We need the world to see how ready the young people are to take on the leadership baton. Thank you so much, Honorable, for all the great work that you are doing in Nigeria.
You're welcome.
You are a force to reckon with. You are not just a politician, but you are a leader who understands needs of young people and where your influence matters. I wish you all the best in your vision to design a new governance model to develop Nigeria and have vulnerable population. I follow you very closely. I am always inspired by what you have to say. I know a leader, I can smell a leader from a distance, and I can say, sir, you just happen to be serving in politics, but you are a leader at heart. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you for lifting up the youth of Nigeria and for lifting up the youth of Africa and consequently, the youth of the nations of the world. Everybody that heard you today is transformed in one way or the other. Thank you so much, Honorable. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, all right, all right. I don't know how you're feeling, but I am great. I am excited. I am feeling warm and cozy. This flight has been awesome. Would you say so? If you believe that we had a beautiful and smooth flight from when we took off with Kayla, and then we brought up Honorable Dr. Astel Collins from Guyana, and then we had Deborah Powell all the way from the continent of Europe in the country of UK. Then we had Valentine from the continent of the Americas. He is originally from Mexico, and he's now representing USA and Mexico on this platform today. And now we had Honorable Dr. Simon Karu, a politician, a parliamentarian in Nigeria. We've had JD to perform the violin. We've also had Pound Tell Them, Ewura Adams in the house to tell you, the young people, of who you are. Oh my goodness, I am fed. I am fed. I have had the appetizer. We have had the meals. We have had the dessert, the beverages in between. We have had everything. Now it's time to roll up the carpet. And now it's time to clear this table. But before you go, I want you to know that Global Youth Leaders Network and Coaches of Influence Foundation are both organizations serving youth in the United States, in South Africa, in several other continents, in Asia, in the Americas, in Africa, in Europe. These organizations have presence in many continents and many countries. Stay connected, get in touch. Inquire from these organizations how you can be involved. If you're a young person, you've heard Deborah talk about the power of volunteerism. You have heard Dr. Astel talk about the power of knowing yourself and discovering who you are. These things don't come by if you're not plugged into an organization, if you're not plugged in somewhere to serve other people. And you've heard Honorable Karu talk about the Africa that we want, that the Africa that we will see. And he said Africa will rise. Africa cannot rise if we don't have people that have risen to lift up Africa. So we need you to be plugged in. You have heard from Valentine tell you all the numbers and the figures of the UN and what is projected and what is expected. We want you to be plugged in. So plug in via Facebook, plug in via LinkedIn, plug in by YouTube and Twitter, and plug in with these organizations, Coaches of Influence Foundation. Find them on social media platforms, Global Youth Leaders Network. You can find them also on the social media platforms. You can also visit their websites. Coaches of Influence is coifoundation.org. coifoundation.org is how you can access their website. And for Guylen, you can find them on guylen.org, Gylem, guylen.org. You know, Coaches of Influence Foundation and Global Youth Leaders Network are focused on designing and implementing programs that are focused on shifting the thinking patterns of youth and shaping their character. These organizations are all about character building, because a man is as good as his or her character. A lady is as good as her character. So these organizations are focused on training and shifting the thinking patterns of youth and shaping their character. Listen, join us next month. It is October. The date is October 24th. Same time, same platform, same location. Join us on Saturday, October 24th, for another edition of Leading Edge Impact Youth. Join us. We look forward to having you. Join us for another edition of Leading Edge Impact Youth Forum on Saturday, October 24th, at the same time, same location. Until I come your way again, thank you so much for your support, and go transform the world. My name is Margaret Ellis, and I was so honored to be your host today. Thank you.